of my favorite animes of all time is Cowboy Bebop. But when Netflix gave us a live action version of it, it kinda hurt to watch and how it left its source material. And this wasn't the first time we were burned by Netflix. So I wasn't really holding my breath for the One Piece adaptation. But boy, oh boy, was I wrong. And honestly, I like being wrong about these types of things. Not only did the show pass my expectations, it managed to stay true to its source material. With only 8 episodes in the live action series, it did really well trimming the fat and just giving us the essentials. And as funny as it is to watch people explain the plot of One Piece on TikTok, it at its core is about freedom. This is what the live action makes sure to hammer in more than anything else, but it still keeps the nuance of the storytelling. We are only given characters that mainly influence the plot of the story, and a lot of side characters get cut out of here that may have influenced the Straw Hat crew themselves, but the same point still gets across. We see where Zoro's conviction and strength come from when we intercut from the present to the past. We understand why Usopp tells lies and acts bigger than he actually is. And that is because we are shown things before we are eventually explained why people act the way they do. And even though the live action has less time than the anime, it does well to use the same techniques where it's necessary. Because in the anime, people can act very, very strange or over the top with certain things, only for us to learn that this habit of theirs is a product of their past. The best example I can give without spoilers is the butler. He likes to fix his glasses with the palm of his hand. I actually have glasses, let me just put those on. He likes to adjust his glasses with just the palm of his hand. It's a small detail, but it stands out. It's not until you see that he fights with swords on his fingers that you realize he's picked up this habit so he doesn't ever cut himself when trying to fix his glasses. This is something that never gets explained, that nobody mentions, but it is there, and it's taken straight from the anime. But it's little things like that that are told over and over again for all the characters that keep the live action staying true to its anime source. Now, this doesn't work perfectly. In the anime, there's a lot of fluff. There's a lot of time to kill. So characters have more time to just marinate. But in the live action, we have to pick and choose our moments. And I think Nami suffers the most from this, because we don't really get to see the quirky side of her. We don't get to see how greedy she is and how materialistic she can be when that plot twist happens to later find out why she acts that way. Really, we're given a more emotional side, and we better understand her values as the story progresses. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I prefer that when it comes to storytelling. I don't think it's easy to give both sides of Nami in the short amount of time that they had. But on the topic of adapting characters, Vice Admiral Garp, I think they did a fantastic job with. And even though a lot of the stories that are told, or some of the lines that he said, are told later on in the anime, I see these changes for the better, because Garp serves as kind of the character growth behind Luffy. Seeing that a lot of shonen protagonists have ideals they never stray from means little character development, and we really just see people around them growing and learning from them. The only time they grow is whenever they need to get stronger. It was great to see Garp's journey. They did him justice. In the live action, Luffy does fall into this shonen protagonist, yet through the use of flashbacks and through some decision making he has to do, we do see him get stronger, and that means physically but also as a character as well. And even though this isn't a one-to-one as our animated Luffy, I still see him as that character through and through.
And I'm gonna be king of the pirates.
Now, this world is really silly to look at. A lot of the characters and places are over-exaggerated to exemplify their own personality, and I do enjoy how much the live action leaned into this. When it came to the practical effects and CGI, they went out of their way to make sure some things were over the top. And as silly as some things came off of, as you could see people just wearing wigs, or you could tell that this is something that just wouldn't practically work, I enjoyed that they went all out and they accepted it. It also helped when it came to the CGI of Luffy. Having someone whose superpowers are to stretch is really hard to CGI. It just goes into that uncanny valley. But when everything else looks as wacky and silly, it makes the boy who can stretch look just kind of normal. The fight scenes were awesome, and the choreographing stayed on par. There were times where there were a little bit too many cuts, but it never was bad. Most of the time, the camera stayed centered. And at the beginning, the world may start grounded, and the fights may seem like something we would see in a normal Western blockbuster. They gradually grow and become more and more anime till we're just on the verge of getting to a Dragon Ball Z moment. Even though some things may have been lost in translation, this show is fun to watch. It's entertaining to the very end, and most importantly, it stays true to its source material, which is why I have to give One Piece an 8 out of 10. Until next time, play nice. Hey, I'm Mario. I like playing video games, watching movies, and Dungeons and Dragons. If you keep getting me in your suggested videos, or you're watching this video right here, consider subscribing. It goes a long way. Thank you.